Welcome back to the Bluechip Breakdown, Vols fans. We're your hosts, Bull and Bray, and we're going to be talking about EA Sports College Football 2025 Dynasty Mode. We tried this several times. We went through a couple of live streams, several technical difficulties, but we're finally getting this one out. Yeah. So, for those of y'all that don't really care about video games and all that, especially this one, this is not going to be for y'all. But for Bray and I would say for millions of other people around the world, this is like a holiday just because we've been waiting on this for such a long time. Dynasty Mode is the mode that you really want to play in this game. It's the biggest deal. And for those of y'all that don't know, Bray is my nephew, and I taught him football off of this video game back in 2013, 2014. So it's a really big deal for us. It's just like a family celebration. But there was a lot to kind of take away from what we saw, in the video earlier today. And for those of y'all that saw the live stream that we got out, then some of this stuff y'all have already heard, but we do have some more notes we can add to it. I will say this, though, it seems like it is going to be pretty realistic. If you want to take over a college football program, this is the game to do it. And it seems like they got several things right outside of my Tennessee Vols being outside of the top 25 and somehow Colorado being there. Somehow Clemson's at number 6. It's a whole lot of things that are just incorrect. But, Bray, what are your first takeaways just in watching the trailer?
Like you said, I think it's going to be very realistic. I really like how they explain the recruiting and the transfer portal and stuff like that. They really made it appealing to people like me, who really want to go in and take over a team and really build the team up. So I really like that. The only downside I like, the trailer they showed, Georgia Michigan national championship, Carson Beck on the pick. I mean, unrealistic. We know Michigan's not going to be there. But, that was the only downside. But other than that, it was a great trailer. I really loved it. I'm looking forward to playing this game here.
So, you know what? It's funny that you brought that up because I think we were kind of going through that blog. Yeah. And there was a picture of Tennessee in Dynasty mode as the number 15 team. They snuck that in there because they know that they got it wrong. So that's not where Tennessee's going to be at. I mean, they've kind of like already came out with those ratings. But I would have to anticipate that they're probably going to be trying to change that pretty soon. That's the only part of the game that I'm just like, I'm a little bit standoffish just because if you get that wrong, I'm like, what else did you get wrong? So, but I do love the fact, though, that you can be a head coach. You could be, an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, whatever, and kind of work your way up. I'm starting off as a head coach. Bray, I think you said the same thing. Yeah. But also, whenever you talk about, getting players from high school or from the transfer portal, you can do both. And it sounds like it's going to be a difference there. Something that I noticed is with the transfer portal players, it sounds like they're going to be making a decision a lot sooner.
They only have 4 weeks. 4 weeks to make a decision.
Okay, so 4 weeks. I think that you talked about there's going to be an early signing period.
In the late signing period.
Yeah, late one.
You're going to see teams, that in the early signing period, not going to have as strong a class, but they're preparing to go big in the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. They said that in the blog. But Kirk in the deep dive, they said that the better way and the more efficient way is to build your team up through the high school ranks. Yep. So just seeing how that kind of plays out, and that's gonna be really interesting as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, this is something that I had kind of touched on in the earlier stream or whatever that we did. Is that what I like to do? Is I play the game for maybe like a week, and I get a good feel for what works, what doesn't work, and from there I know how to build up my team. I don't really jump into Dynasty right off the bat. I'll probably jump in there just to take a look at a couple of things. But the first thing that I need to do is know and understand what really works, because the front seven thing for me is huge. This does not look like they're really taking into account how important that is in football. And we are football guys, right? I mean, like, we love this video game, but we're much more football guys. So we want to see it be more realistic from that perspective. The front sevens, if they're good, the team should automatically be good. And a team like Colorado that we know does not have a good front seven on either side of the football just has no business being in the top 25. I'm going to keep on talking about that because they got that way wrong. Now, you also talked about this, Bray, that you saw a picture of the Heisman race, and they had Sanders, they had Travis Hunter, and then they had Carson Beck
and Ollie Gordon, and they had one other person. I didn't check.
Ollie Gordon is a running back, right?
Oklahoma State.
From Oklahoma State, okay.
So I know they had them four and someone else. But, that made me happy, to see Shador, Travis, Carson Beck. That's what you're going to see in real life this year.
You know what? It probably will start off around in that ballpark just because it seems like there's a whole lot of politics and people are playing favorites for, I mean, I'm not going to say for whatever reason, obviously, because Coach Prime is out there. But, Colorado has a whole lot of buzz. They've got a crazy fan base of people who don't know nothing about college football, but all of a sudden they're huge Colorado fans. I ain't mad at them for it. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at Colorado. Y'all all know I'm a huge Deion Sanders fan. Might be my favorite player. He's definitely one of my favorite players of all time.
He's my favorite player of all time.
Yeah, I mean him, Eric Berry. I mean, there's several. I mean, obviously Peyton. I mean, there's several that I could put up there. But he's definitely like he's in that same mix with me. So I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at EA Sports for playing more to the favorites and not being true to what this should actually be. So I'm gonna try to get off of that. But just in talking about Dynasty mode, several factors here that we've kind of talked about before. But what is it going to look like? Like, how much time do you get to talk with each individual player? That's something that was you able to get that figured out?
I kind of saw a little something touching on that. So a team with higher prestige. So for example, like Alabama, Georgia, or Tennessee. Some SEC teams are gonna have more time to recruit than a lower tier school. Like let's say like a Georgia State or a Kennesaw State, something like that. Mm-hmm. So that was I think they mentioned it more in the blog, but I kind of skimmed through real quick because I was trying to get as much information for this video. But I think that's kind of the only thing I've seen so far.
Okay,
about that.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. I mean, like if you could spend hours on hours with these players, some of them are going to like it. If it's anything like that last game where you could just talk to them, I want to say it was like maybe you got 10 hours and maybe you had like up to an hour to speak to each player. Yeah. But some players wouldn't like it. Like you might talk to them for 20 minutes and they might say, you know what, I'm done and hang up on you. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so
they did say a little something about that, about demon players and going through their social media.
Yeah.
Go through their social media and, like different things, but they did say you don't want to like old posts or something like that. It'll like negatively affect or something like that. You can also, I think you can like talk to like family members and coaches, from like their high school and stuff. So it seems like they're really investing in that side of things.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I'm a little bit as a football guy. I'm like, okay, they're a little bit too much invested in the off the field stuff, which is cool. But get the on the field stuff right first. Get that stuff right first. And then everything else kind of goes along with it. And then you have a phenomenal game. But that's where I'm a little bit frustrated at, with the game. But, I think that it's going to be very interesting, obviously, if you could talk to players on different social media platforms and all of that. You're going to have to get that figured out. I mean, there's a lot to get figured out with it. And then you also talked about players could be verbals. They could decommit. Yeah. You could still talk to players once they are only verbals because in the old game, once they
commit your sign.
Yeah,
that was one thing.
That was it.
I was kind of mad about that because I would be up with a recruit and he would commit and I just can't recruit no more. So I think that's a great feature that they added in this game where you can be up on the recruit and it's kind of like stuff we see in real life. I'm gonna throw USC out there. People go out to California, they commit and from the South, and then more SEC teams get in, they decommit, they flip, stuff like that. So I seen that in the game. I feel like that's one of the more things like for football guys that's actually looking pretty fun.
Yeah. That actually makes it a lot more challenging. Now, do you know much about doing the online dynasty? Was this online dynasty and just a regular dynasty or what?
It was both. They mentioned online dynasty. They said you have 32 teams. You have up to 32 people in your dynasty. It's pretty much the same thing as a normal dynasty.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's definitely dope. I mean, and that would be fun. That's something that I never did before. I never did like the online stuff with this game before. I would only play it at home or I'd play it like with my friends, and that's But as far as being able to go out and try to build a program versus some of your buddies, I mean, that would be fun. And that would be something I would actually like to do on this channel. But the only thing is, I'm sure everyone's gonna be picking Tennessee. So how much fun would that be? And could you even do that? Like, could everyone be the exact same team? Probably not. You know what I mean? But I like the fact that you can kind of talk to different family members and all that. It also sounds like you get a coaching tree and you get some coaching traits and characteristics that will help you with certain players, right? Like if a player, I don't know, maybe likes, like a more high flying offense. Maybe if you're that sort of a personality, it might help you to get that sort of a player. So I think that's dope. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff that sounds like it's going to be a ton of fun to play. But for me, just kind of like looking at some of the coaching characteristics, I saw one that was a tactician. I would probably be a lot more of an on the field kind of a coach, just because that's who I am. You know what I mean? Like I want to get the players in and I want to get them better. Like I can find a guy that's a little bit underrated, but I feel like inside of my system, he's going to be a freaking star because I'm going to know how to use him. Anybody. So I think I'll be kind of like Hyper, where I don't need 5 stars. You'll probably be more like Kirby, where if you don't have the 5 stars, your team's gonna suck.
My team's gonna be good anyway, but I'm definitely gonna probably start off as more of a recruiter. I want to make sure I get the players I want in, because
it's probably smart.
I think I could be a technician too, though. Just build a system, find the playbooks that really works in this game, Yeah, I think for me, I'm gonna start for recruiter because I like that kind of stuff. I like recruiting people,
Yeah.
going out, find the best players. I'm gonna have #1 class for years on years on years stacked.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, and then too, just like hearing about the way that you can kind of switch up the conferences and all that, that's gonna be fun because I know for me, whenever I used to play, I would get so tired of running through the SEC and just beating everybody like it's nothing. What I started to do is I say, okay, listen, some of y'all teams, some of y'all programs that aren't up to par, you're out of here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring in the highest and the best of the best. So it was basically just like an all-star conference for me. Yeah,
that's what it is. They say you can build a super conference, or you can go back to the way conference used to be, which I feel like that's actually very interesting.
Yeah,
to go versus like all the way back, like early 2000s, where we have teams, in the big
Texas A&M's not. I mean, I don't remember when Texas A&M came in. Definitely like in the early 2000s. Obviously, Texas, Oklahoma won't be part of the SEC. Yeah, I mean that's more of the traditional. To me, I like it better this way because I like that competition. Obviously, if you go all the way back to whenever the game was out, like I just said, I had those super conferences like before anyone had even thought of them. It would be, like us, I'm saying us at Tennessee, USC, like the Buckeyes. Who else was good back then? Whoever was good. I mean, we just had them all. So that's how I would want to do it because I want to play up against the best of the best of the best. Sure. I want to have meaningful games. It also helps out with your strength of schedule. It sounds it sounds like players are going to like that too because I got players from coast to coast. They'll like to know, hey, am I going to have a game in my home state or anywhere near? Can my family come watch me ball? So now, whenever you got these super conferences that's coast to coast, of course, everybody, right?
Yeah.
So those are some of my thoughts with that.
They also said something. This is going back to recruiting. That say you bring a quarterback and a receiver in, that could help, or you can bring a corner and a safety in. That could help. Kind of persuade them to your school because they're like, well, we can come play together. We can put up numbers in the system. So I really like that. The one thing I'm still interested in, I mean, they might have said it in the blog. I still got to go back and really read it. I want to say if you can bring people in for multiple visits, like an unofficial, and then they can come back later for official stuff like that. That's one thing I'm interested in seeing.
Yeah. I mean, that would be huge. Well, I know that before you could do the in-home visits. I don't remember if they would ever come up on campus, but if they do come up on campus, I would like to see some of that. I don't think that's going to be in this game, but at least for the next one, that's something for them to start working on. All right, like look, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, look. First off, get the on the field stuff right. Okay, get the ratings right, get the rankings right. Find somebody that's more of a football person. Come, sit down with them and say, okay, what makes sense here? Do you kind of go by the CFP rankings? Do you add in maybe some of the ESPN rankings or the whatever what's that called that FIP or that FPI whatever? Yeah, like maybe add something like that in, but do something where it makes some sense. Have some people that understand what a roster is supposed to look like and what's weighted, from a point of what's the most important on the, on a very foundational level from all teams. And then how is it going to be different from team to team?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like what position means more from team to team? I want to see them do that. But yeah, I would love to be able to see some of those visits. I would love to have some different activity choices.
Yeah, they did say, I think it's up to 12 or 14 different activities that prospects can do when they come on the visit.
Oh, nice.
So that's great. Again, for football heads, stuff like that. I really enjoy that type of stuff. I feel like that's great. But I think, and obviously they said if you win the game, that's, they're gonna have different challenges how they did in the old game.
Mm-hmm.
Now I remember the old game, if you were bringing like a quarterback on visit, it was like you had to pass for like 250 yards, something like that, get people committed or whatever. That's big. I mean, you always want to try to get people committed, but I feel like that's gonna mean a lot, but it's not gonna mean as much in this game because they're not just gonna be able to sign. You're gonna have to stay on them, different stuff like that.
Yeah. So you could bring people up on visits to your campus.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't remember none of that stuff. But anyway, yeah. I mean, it should be a whole lot of fun for sure. We just got about like a week or we got like a couple of weeks, whatever.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, I guess, if you're getting it early. So yeah, should be a whole lot of fun, y'all. And we are going to try to do something for those of y'all that will get the game. I guess I'm just going to break on down and get it. You know what I mean? Hope that Tennessee ends up being good towards at some point in the season. But yeah, I mean, I would like to get a league or something together for all of the, members or, whatever. Anyone that's a part of this channel, anyone who wants to join it, we would love to have you. Maybe we can do something like a week-to-week thing and then have our own playoffs, towards the end of the season, and just kind of take it from there. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we can get some money involved with this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe everyone puts in $2 or $3 or whatever, and first place gets something, second place gets something. Maybe we can do something like that. I don't know. We're still trying to figure it out. But if y'all would like to do that, let us know down in the comment section. But as always, man, thank y'all so much for sticking all the way to the end. That's going to be it for this one. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. We'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks. Peace.